Hi everybody, Ben Packer coming to you from the Jerusalem Heritage House in the Old City of Jerusalem with our Ramban of the Week. Don't forget, this coming Sunday night is the beginning of Hanukkah. We have our Hanukkah, our menorah right here to remind you, Sunday night. This week's Parsha is VaYeishev. And we have the story of Yosef being sold into captivity and taken down into Egypt. And when he's in Egypt, all kinds of crazy things happen, and he ends up in jail. And he says in the verse, "For I was indeed kidnapped from the land of the Hebrews, and even here I have done nothing for them to have put me in the pit." So the Ramban wants to explain what is this expression, from the land of the Hebrews. So first he has to explain, what is a Hebrew? Why are they called Hebrews? So the first answer the Ramban gives is that the explanation of the phrase from the land of the Hebrews is from the land of Hebron, where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob all lived at some point. Joseph went from Hebron to meet his brothers and then got sold from there. So he also lived in Hebron. And the Hebron is somehow Hebrews, becomes Hebrews. Another explanation is that Abraham, who was the start of the family lineage, was called Avram the Hebrew. Why is he called that? Because he came from the other side of the Euphrates River. And Avram traveled from modern-day Iraq, crossed the Euphrates to the land of Israel. So he's called the guy from the other side. And that makes sense in Hebrew. Anyway, he was renowned among the nations for God's promise, "I will make your name great." So everyone knew about him, and they called him the Hebrew. Another answer the Ramban gives, a very interesting one, is that the Hebrews themselves perpetuated this name for themselves, so they would not intermingle with the Canaanite natives, meaning they were a minority in a large population. And even then, they were worried about assimilation. Also in America now, in the rest of the world. But even then, they were worried about assimilation, even at the very beginning. So that's why they're called Hebrews, because of those different possibilities. But now, what is the land of the Hebrews? Why does Joseph say, "I'm from the land of the Hebrews"? Thus, the Ramban says, thus Joseph called the land of their sojournings the land of the Hebrews, meaning the land where the Hebrews are located. But not just the Jews, Hebrews were located there. There were Canaanites there, and they were the overwhelming majority. So why would Joseph think it's the appropriate term to call it the land of the Hebrews? It's the land of the Canaanites, and we live there with them. Joseph is teaching us something very, very important. The Ramban is explaining to us that Joseph thought it was important to call it the land of the Hebrews because that's why the land was important. Because the Jews lived there, that's why that land is important. And until today, the land of Israel is important because of the Jews. Yeah, now we have natural gas. We'll see how that goes. But it's not famous for all the other stuff. It's famous because the Jewish people lived here and the story that came out from it. And that's why the land is famous. And that's why we call it the land of Israel, the Holy Land. Other people call it by all these other bizarre names that make no sense. But that's their problem. Jewish people call this the land of Israel. They always have. They always will. What other people call it, it's not so important. This is the land of Israel. That's why it's important. It's the land of Israel. We're the children of Israel. Shabbat Shalom. Happy Hanukkah.